I bid you welcome or welcome back. This is going to be a really short video about a fun project I made. Also, no face cam today, you will just appreciate it that much more next time. So you know, there are these things called ballpoint pens. I just dropped one of them. Here's ballpoint pens. You know, the things that you used to stab into the side of your school desk back in the day until they broke and you got ink all over your pens. That sounded very specific, wasn't it? I've been experimenting with doing drawings with pens, mostly with black pen. I got this pack of colored pens, red, blue and black, from this really cheap local shop. I calculated and every single one of these pens was about 13 cents USD, so they are so cheap I literally had to glue them together because the insides were wiggling. But you know, let's see what we can actually do with these. I was thinking what to make for Mother's Day and I landed on this idea of a lake full of ducks in the sunset that I can make with blue and red ballpoint pens. I made a quick mock-up digitally to see what I really wanted before starting the one on multimedia paper. The red is used for the light of the sun and the blue is there for the shadows and the rest of the materials, so they can be used to add depth to the piece where the further things appear with the red ink, picking at the outline of the sun with red only, and the foliage in the foreground had almost exclusively blue along with the deepest shadows everywhere. Now I have to say that I used a mixed media paper and it might have something to do with the fact that these two didn't really blend together. Maybe I was also going way too fast and harsh with them, but I expected the two inks to make a much more natural purple transition the way I did with the digital mockup, where it's literally, you know, just a perfect gradient between the two colors digitally. I imagine if it was a less harsh paper then it would have blended much more, but also just the quality of the ink is a huge factor, which is, you know, 13 cents per pen, go figure. What I'm really happy with, on the other hand, is the idea coming to life, actually seeing the transition between the two colors and how much can be made just with red and blue. And it was also my first proper try, and with the cheap stuff, even though I did similar things digitally before with adding just one color to grayscale images, something I got directly from Angel Ganov, but it was, I will say, my first really honest attempt traditionally. And I feel like the foreground and just the perspective, especially on the ducks and the little lily pads, is something that kind of falls apart and it doesn't really align. Maybe it is just something that I notice much more, and anyone who knows more about you know, fundamentals of representational drawing will notice more, but you know, it's the kind of thing that I will just pay attention more next time. I suppose that's exactly what I always say and then I never follow it up. Anyways, but for now this piece is at its end, so let me know how I did. Reinforce my thought that I will need to use much more ink next time and cover things much more instead of being too afraid. I have plans of trying this again with better pens and also use some watercolors in them to enhance the same colors and maybe blend them more into purples, and of course, you know, hope that the watercolor is not going to completely pick up the ink. I will need to look into it, how it exactly works, if I want to use that method. But for now, thank you very much for watching. Have a nice day, create something, even if it's a quick and flawed ballpoint pen drawing that honestly shows more dreams than skills. Maybe use some watercolor too and let me know how it went. How about that? But most importantly, have fun while doing that. Farewell. And here we have the final picture. It was made on A4 paper. Let me just really quickly show it to the camera so I don't have to like edit together a montage of different parts of this picture. I'm not really happy with how these pieces of foliage turned out. Like, they seem really flat, like they all just start out from this side of the canvas, and you know, like just the lily pads really seem to fall out of perspective. My favorite part is definitely this like effect with the sun. Quack, 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 quack.